Did you hear it? What happened? What the hell happened? What is the music? All right, I'm going to just stop it right there. Wow. Hold on. I'm trying to get. Oh, I'm going to have technical. Here we go. Here we go. That was a little weird glitch. Oh. Yeah, you know what? Oh, here we go again. Here we go. This can happen. Oh, darn it. All right. I'm gonna stop right there. There we go. It's back. It's Creep. Remember this song? Hope all you guys are feeling good. I'm happy to see you. There's about 7 of you here right now, so welcome. Awesome. I'm going to do a 30-minute rant, tonight. The topic is about Craigslist creepers. You would be surprised what I went through trying to find a new place to live at to start college. My first day of class is actually this Monday, and I'm really excited. And this is where I'm at right now, but it's a miracle that I'm here. I sold the RV. Sorry, I got a little bit of a popcorn stuck up there. I sold the RV right before I left for $2,000. Well, actually $2,100, but I knocked off, $2,300. So I sold it for $2,000. Like I got $2,000 out of it altogether. Because I knocked it off a little bit for a few things, but I think I gave her a good deal. I did some footage with the girl who bought it from me, and so I'm gonna do like a little goodbye montage to the RV. So, all right. So I want to talk about. First of all, I'm gonna stop the music. Well, maybe not. Let's just kind of. Why don't we mellow out for a little bit before we start? What's the big rush? Oh, and by the way, look, I've been made a special food and cheese platter plate while I'm on the show, and it's being set right here. So, I just don't want to brag, but I feel like I'm kind of like going big time now, because we got like like a little platter. And I suggest that maybe you make your own little platter tonight, and hang out. Because after I do my podcast, I'm going to simultaneous cast it from here to here on Instagram, like 30 minutes, not something really long, maybe shorter, whatever. I'll cut away from different things, and you'll hear my podcast, the audio version, on Anchor. And okay, now I am going to stop the music. All right, so let's stop it. Because on Anchor is where my podcast lives, and then it's dispersed to Spotify and to Google Play and a whole bunch of other things, stuff. And well, if you look in the description, you'll see all of them that I link to. And that's just the audio version of what I'm recording tonight. So I appreciate you guys being in the chat. I love some of the comments that you've made already before the show, so I just kind of want to go through them before I start. Info Create said, let's get the party started. So let's do it, because we're also going to talk about Miles Johnston tonight and the follow-up on him, and that's going to be after I do the podcast. And also, I'm going to be talking about Sean Atwood tonight to do a follow-up on some stuff that's going on with him that I've been looking at too as well, for those of you who are in the know about these people. Also, let me see. What else? Charles, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Charles from Project Camelot. He has a really great, video on Simon Says, and Mr. Necktie. You know who I'm talking about. All right, Simon Says, it's a great video, and like his channel too as well. We also have Smoldering Simon's Parts, and I want to welcome Smoldering Simon Parts to the podcast tonight. He has been very active on Charles. I want to say Charles in Charge, but that's Scott. Isn't that Scott Baio? I think that's Scott Baio, which that was a bit of a scandal, but we won't go there right now. Okay, so, but there's something between Scott Baio and Henry Winkler. There was a little feud that took place, and it was over something. It was over the people who were the Democrats from Texas that went to Congress that came back with the sniffles. And so there was so apparently Chachi and Uncle Fonzie aren't really, gelling really well. Smoldering Simon Parts. I love it. Smoldering. Does Simon's Parts, does Simon Says that my parts are smoldering? I'm not sure. But it could happen. As Judy Tenuta says, it could happen. All right. So also, I want to give a shout out to Rudy Roo tonight. He's been more helpful than you would ever imagine in preparation for this particular show. As a matter of fact, he suggested the TLC song Creep to start this out, to talk about the Craigslist creepers. Because let me tell you something, it has been a real, I can't even believe what happened to me on Craigslist. Okay. And by the way, okay, I won't give that away yet. Let's go on. Shadow Band account, welcome. It's good to see you here tonight, as usual. And Shadow Band says, Terry, if you feel like it while we're waiting, check out a band that I just came across. Really good band, the Blue Stones, song Oceans. Okay, we'll look that up later. And why not? All right. Remind me, Shadow Band account, before I say that. Jonocide. Hey, welcome. I'm glad to see that you're here. Out of Mind. John, good to see you here. And then there's Mark Sallow. Always great to see you here, too, as well. Smoldering Simon's Parts. Man, that is just, I love that name. I just love it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, hopefully this turns on. Okay. I might have to ignore it. This is an experiment tonight because, okay, anyway, the main Wi-Fi doesn't turn on until school starts. So this over here is, I'm doing my hotspots. So hopefully I have enough juice to live stream on Instagram. So I will repeat, just so you know, I'm not just being redundant. I will repeat, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast. And then I'm going to go 2 cameras. The goal is to do it for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to talk about Mr. First, we're going to start with Miles Johnston, all right, because there's a lot going on with Miles. All right, but I got to get this done too, so I appreciate you guys being here. If you want to participate, please comment whatever I'm talking about in the chat. Okay, here we go. Checking for a connection. It might not work. Oh, I'm live. All right, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast, here on Instagram and at Tere Joyce, and also on YouTube at the same time. And so we're going to be doing this at the same time. All right, so the title of this podcast, this rant that I'm going to be doing is called Craigslist Creepers, because I have really experienced a lot of Craigslist creepy things, okay? And trying to find a place to live when you're going to college is really a challenge, especially if you title your ad something like, college student looking for a room to rent, and then I was a bit honest, like I wanted to, say a few things about myself that might paint a picture of, who I am and why I'm going back to college. I also said something that I didn't want to give all my credits because, to be honest with you, I'm a little afraid of people actually really Googled me and then they go, we're not living with her. Okay. Which may have actually happened. And maybe that's my problem. But I really, because I worry about it. And there's so many ways to offend people now. I mean, just the fact that you haven't just one slight opinion, like just not everybody else knew what happened. All right. I see her on Instagram that Tony Angel has joined. I want to wave Skippy Sprinkles. It's good to see you here tonight. Skippy is a very funny comedian up in the Seattle area, and Stephen Allen Green, who's also a very funny comedian in the Los Angeles area, but sometimes in San Francisco, and he's also in England. So Stephen Allen Green we've done lots of shows together. All right, lots. All right, so it's good to see you here. Matter of fact, I was thinking about you, Stephen. All right. So I want to talk about this Craigslist creeper thing, right? The Craigslist creepers. Now, today I noticed on Twitter, probably the AI, right? The AI, here's what we talk about, and all of a sudden wherever you look at it, it's there. So I came up with the title today with a friend of mine. We bounced it off, and he said, why don't you just call it Craigslist Creepers for the podcast today? I go, that's great. Then I found out there's a Twitter account that's at, CL, and it's like at CL Creepers _ I did a tweet with them because they like to hear stories about freaks on Craigslist. All right. Now, the most famous freak on Craigslist was the guy who, matter of fact, let me look at his name. The last name is Markoff. I think it's Phil. Let me just double check really quick here. Craiglist killer. Oh, no. Okay. Yes, Philip Markoff. This guy. I don't know if you can see him. I'm doing it like this, like maybe right there, right there. This guy apparently was finding masseuse. I'm sure they went to masseuse school. No, we're talking about the other masseuse, laptop dancers, escort girls, right? And he would meet them, and he did, he either, rob them or harm them or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that there was a made-for-TV movie about it, like somewhere in the 90s. All right, that guy ended up going to prison, and but before he actually went to trial, he killed himself. And I don't mean to say so, like blah, 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 he killed himself, But the weird thing is while he was dying in his own blood, he wrote his girlfriend's name on the wall. So this is where Craigslist starts, all right? And I'm just going to say that I'm really grateful that I did not have the experience of that. Okay, first of all, Craigslist has a lot of scams, and I want to tell you how they happen. And I almost feel like, Craigslist is working with Roomster, because Roomster's a piece of shit too. I'm sorry to say it. Like Roomster, I made a report. I actually said something like, I was just infested with scams. Every person that approached me. And come on, when somebody tells you like, oh, like you go, well, that's too much money that I can pay for. Oh, well, how much can you pay? How much can you pay? Oh, by the way, I'm really busy all the time. And I'm just looking for somebody to, take care of my place. My my place is probably $250,000 that you would never be able to afford, while you're trying to go to college, getting your little degree. But all I need is somebody to be clean and everything like that. And by the way, I'll probably mail you the keys. You can pay with me with a money order or wire transfer, and whatever. And don't worry about the utilities, because they're already included, because I'm a governmental programmer, right? So I thought, well, what the hell is a governmental programmer? I mean, I have enough problems in my life that I don't need to deal with a governmental programmer. Like, trust me, I'm trying to get away from the government, even though I'm going to, state schools and stuff like that. But whatever, there's good and bad in everything, right? But, you never can be like exactly too careful on what, what you're going to be dealing with. By the way, Patrick, Maureen Patrick is on over here. Hey, and if you guys want to join me later, because I'm going to do like another, discussion about, down the rabbit hole stuff that, whatever. Because this is like not my rabbit hole. Because I'm sick of the rabbit hole shit. It's like, oh, the rabbit hole, this, the rabbit hole, that. Oh, didn't you go far down the rabbit hole? I go, well, maybe your rabbit hole's not my rabbit hole. And so I want to have like a discussion about that with people. Maybe nobody cares, but you know what? When I tell people my new email and I go, when I'm talking to someone, I go, not my rabbit hole at gmail.com. Usually they laugh. They think it's funny. And so I think, well, there's a laugh already just in the name of my Gmail. Now I had one guy, I was trying to like maybe going into this kind of student housing where you like, you get approved to be in it. And they, there's clusters of apartments that people, when they go back to college, can go to. And I had one guy that I had to go, not, N is a nasty, O is an Oscar, T is in Tom, my M is in Mary, Y is in you, rabbit, like R is in Randy. It was just went on. And then he had to repeat it back to me like that. And I'm thinking, wow, is this one of the work study programs they give you when you're in college? Because it was really like, man, when I go there, I might be a genius. I'm not sure, Okay, so let me get to the nugget of like, it wasn't just the rental scams that came at me. Like, I got so scammed that eventually people, I go, what? Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You want me to like, are you going to mail me the keys? And then like, I'm going to wire you the money, and you're a governmental programmer, right? And you don't like, and I don't have to worry about the utilities. And like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What am I talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, that's how scammy these people were. And so I went through that. And then I got a rash of dick pics. I'm telling you guys, I've never seen so many penises in a really long time. I mean, like no face, no nothing, just full on, whatever. And my man, baby, I really want to ride this. I'm like, no, I really want to rent a room. I'm serious. I really want to go to college, right? I had one guy like text me, okay, and he goes, have you ever like been an assistant to a millionaire? And he's like talking about going to all these different places and this and that. And he's like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, didn't you read my ad? I'm going back to school. I'm going to study journalism. Of course, I didn't tell him. I don't think I said when I made my major. What I'm going to do is I'm going to like talk about this and write about this and experience of like being a woman and just getting picked apart on Craigslist. Like, here's a wounded bird that can only pay $500 a month to live in an apartment. I'm sure she wants to sleep in my bed and see a pic of my pee-pee. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to look at. Yeah, it's like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, okay, so the millionaire guy, I kind of toyed with him for a little while. Then I got bored and I blocked him off my phone. And then another guy was like talking to me, and he's like, hey, I have a room, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, at this point, I thought I had a place, right? I even made an address change, but that didn't work out, okay, because that was a freak show. That was another freak show, but we might get into that later. I don't know. I might have to go to therapy after that one. I'm not sure, because it was such a head trip with this one guy who said that he looked like Drew Carey, but had the personality of John Candy. I'm like, wow. I am, no, I'm kidding. I'll let that stand. I'll let that stand. I'm not, Drew Carey's a very funny comedian. But it's not like you go, wow. Guess who? I'm like, never mind. Maybe he's sexy. No, okay, I'll stop it. I'll stop. Okay, the Drew Carey thing got me. Anyway, so this one guy, this one was a good one too. He goes, "Do you want to be friends? When you get here, because you never." I'm in my 40s. Like to me, younger man, right? Because I'm in my 40s. I'm like, he showed me his picture and everything like that. And he goes, "What kind of entertainment business are you in?" Like, I'm a freaking stripper or something, right? Oh yeah, I do the. I don't think I can pull myself up on the pole right now. I'm so freaking out of shape from the pandemic. And he's like, I've got fear of heights. It's just not something I would be doing. And plus, I just can't see myself doing it right now. It's like, hey, it's for the stripper over 50. Like what club where's that club at? I won't be that person where I'm stripping my way into college, right? But he's going, well, what kind of entertainer? What kind of you're not in your 40s, you're like 25 or something. Well, thank you, Info Create. Thank you. You're making me feel, I'll eat a piece of cheese on that. That's like, why not? Okay. So he says, I own 5 gentlemen clubs. I'm like, okay, what are they? In Vegas, what are they? And I'm like, he names like one of them's like Larry's Villa. I look it up on Google. It was a fatal shooting there. It closed down in 2016. The second club, he told me, closed down, in 2016 over like family feuding and money problems and all this other drama. And I'm going, oh, well, one of your clubs, one of your clubs. Really? I go, I just looked, I love this. I love doing this too. Oh, I loved it. I go, I just looked on the internet. One of your clubs let you went down in 2016 for a fatal shooting. And all he could do was giving me a sad face, like a sad face emoji. He's like, oh, like you didn't know that? Like you didn't know that you're just sitting here. Like first of all, the guy thinks that I'm so like, desperate, obviously I'm a whore because I worked in the entertainment business, right? I'm just a big old whore, because, like we have no morality whatsoever, especially the female comedians, trust me. And, like maybe they don't even think I'm a comedian. Maybe they don't think I've ever been a comedian, and then, but here I can even tell people, hey, Google my name, Tere Joyce, you'll see that I was like a finalist on a show called Last Comic Standing, in the first season, third season. Like, it's like, obviously, like she used to live in this town, but like she left and she went to become a big old slut in Hollywood. And now she wants to come back and get an education. Dudes and dudettes out there, because I don't want to discriminate, and dudettes that haven't identified as being a dude or dudettes. Doesn't matter. Peeps. I had one guy like take a picture of his bank account and go, $21,000. I can take care of you, baby. I'm like, your ass is as broke as mine is. Shut up. Like, like you're $21,000 and you think I'm going to come and go, yeah, I can't wait. And I love the dude who said like, I smoke weed and play, PlayStation all day, but would you share your room with me? Don't worry, I won't bother you because I just smoke the ganja all the time. Really? Okay, that's a good one. That's a big plus. But the one that really got me. Oh, okay. And then there was the guy who said who took a picture of himself and he had a big old, like it was this big old, banana hanging down. And but he goes, I can't show my face because I don't want my input. I don't want people at work to know that I'm sending this to you, right? So it's like covering his face. And he says something like, I'm a bisexual man, do you want to get involved with a bisexual nudist? And, you can stay here and, have my bed and you can suntan in the nude on my patio. So I got that offer. Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't even know what to say to that. I was like, well, you know what? I think I might have said, I'm waiting to find out. I put a deposit on a place and I'm waiting to find out. But if it falls through, maybe I'll consider getting a tan. No, I don't think I didn't say anything. So that one happened. A lot of people was like, hey, one of them I was thinking maybe I would read it to you, but I probably would be like offensive. I'd get cut off. I'd have to make my show rated R right now if I actually read everything that they said to me, just dirty, nasty stuff. And all I wanted was a room to rent so I could go to college. So there you go, Craigslist. There you go. Literally, I had more offers for sex than I've ever had in a really long time. Actually, I was like, well, maybe I'm not doing as bad as I think I am. But, it's just so creepy, especially when you realize that we have to remember, don't ever forget what takes place in the 90s. Never forget what takes place in the 90s because, we had the Craigslist killer. I was going to say Craigslist creeper, but I'm a creep. Okay. So that about does it for my rant right now. I think, for my podcast, I just wanted to share with you my Craigslist experience of trying to find a place. The sexual innuendos. One guy though said, "Is that your real hair? Is that my real hair? And which kind of made me go, Sarah, all right." And if you know who I'm talking about, yes, this is. By the way, tonight I did not want to wear any hairpiece because I once again I want to show you that this is all mine. This is all mine. I have a lot of hair. It's not a wig. This one is not the wig. This is actually me. Okay. So anyway, I'm in a temporary holding pattern right now. So if you want to know where what's going on, but I am so everything's cool at the moment. And I start school on Monday, so I might take a school picture. I remember in the 90s at the Ice House Annex. That was fun. Dark hippie. Yes, it was fun. Ice House Annex is part of the Ice House Comedy Club, and I produced several different shows there in that little room. So some fun times, that's for sure. All right, and I just want to acknowledge a few people here that tuned in on this on Instagram. I'm in Hollywood. Hello, that's Stephen Allen Green. Moran Patrick. Moran Patrick, come join me over here because I'm going to keep going on the live stream over here on YouTube. Dark hippie. Glad to see you here. All right. Well, at this point, thank you for listening to my satirical apocalyptic rant. And hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you want to check me out, I'm on Anchor. You can also support me on Anchor. If you want to support my podcast, you want to support my school or my education, and even with a one-time donation, I'm at hollywoodhemptress@gmail.com. You can also go to notmyrabbithole.com. And if you click onto one of the, one of my articles, there is a donate button there as well. You can go to anchor.com. Please subscribe to my podcast, Not My Rabbit Hole at Midnight with Tere Joyce. And you can also support me through their support system. Like I have a supporter there that gives me $9.99 a month to support my podcast. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's with Anchor. And I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/freedom of Joyce if you want to support my efforts. All right. And other than that, I bid you guys good night. If you on Instagram, if you want to join me on my YouTube channel, please do. I'm at Not My Rabbit Hole with Tere Joyce. We're going to go into a discussion about Miles Johnston and also Sean Atwood from True Crime Podcast. So thank you for watching here on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and then I got a and now. Okay, share. All right, give me just a second. I want to have a better face than that. That's not good. Okay, that's good enough. And then I'm going to title it. I didn't do this because I was kind of Craigslist creepers. And then I'll do the description later because I don't want to waste my time there. Okay. So let me see what some of you guys are saying here. And Miles Johnson. Okay, let me see. Electropig says, okay, some of it migrates to the back in the south, but that doesn't count. Oh, I never lost any hair at all. I just happened to be damn pretty that my face needed to annex surrounding territory for the future expansion purposes. That's funny, Electropig. Smoldering Simon Park says, I have my... Wait. Okay, wait. I have my own hair. I kept it. I keep it next to my box of ginger biscuits. That's funny. OEM equipment. Smoldering Pete. Dudes and dudettes and non-binary minge warriors of the world unite. I don't mind. Thank you for the funny, like you're laughing. That's good. I can't hear you, but here's Smoldering Simon. I have the body of John Candy and the personality of Pindar, the draconian overlord of the earth. Oh, it's funny. I wish I would have read that on I wish I would have noticed that on Instagram. It's so funny. Yeah, that's funny. See. Info. I'm studying on how to program right now, learning Python code. Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. Okay, Mr. Jonestown's Nuggets are what started all this trouble. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I want to, as I'm talking to you, because I actually put some stuff in my Gmail account that I want to pull up here on Miles Johnston. So I'm just kind of like doing this while I'm talking to you. Okay, where did I put that at? Oh my goodness. Don't tell me I didn't send that to myself. Contact notification. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, because tonight, I'm going to I'm going to show you Miles Johnston's own website. Here's what's going on. He's released some information to certain individuals about being arrested. And and I've seen variations of what's happened. Like he said that he got arrested or she was drunk. Versus I've heard things of like she was drunk and I took her home and that's all that happened and it was a honeypot and I'm being unfairly blamed or unfairly being accused of rape. I've also seen him writing that his computers were confiscated and his mobile device was taken and that he was released without bail, which meaning that he didn't have to post bail to leave, I guess, right? There are like the police department that arrested him. I've seen him, John Irwin is not buying it. All right. John Irwin sent me, and I could show you guys the graphics, but I'm just telling you what happened, right? I mean, you can check back to these other people and find out if you want. But John Irwin sent me something. Well, maybe I will read what John Irwin sent. Hold on. About Miles. And I just, because I want to give you, like, I can't verify anything right now. All right. If I could verify something completely, then I would. All right. I can say that I've heard from really reliable sources that he was arrested. Like, for example, the Kevin Moore team, whom I really trust, says that he definitely was arrested. They did take his computers and everything. They did take his mobile device. He is saying that it's a honeypot. His YouTube channel also went down at the same time. So, he's saying, well, my YouTube channel went down and this is going down and that's happening. It is a rape allegation. There is things in print of him saying this. One of my sources said that Miles communicated with them through LinkedIn, all right, and admitted that this had happened, and pretty much said that it was really bad. But on the other hand, I'm getting this from John Irwin, and so I like, he sent it to me in Skype. So let me just read what he said. And I've shared this with a few people, but I haven't made any of these posts public on a level. So let me find where that conversation is. Here it is. Okay. Gosh, now I can't seem to find it. Anywhere, it's basically Miles. You know what? I probably put it in my. I think I screenshotted it. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, so you can't see it, but you can kind of see here. You can see some of it, right? You can see where the top of that is Miles responding to John Irwin. And then you have this part here, and it says, "Go tell Melksham police that I was not arrested." That would be nice. "Go tell Melksham police I did not spend a day in their cells. You have lost it." So that's basically, I'm assuming that is Miles Johnston responding to John Irwin saying, you're full of crap and you're just making stuff up for drama purposes or whatever. All right. And then John Irwin says, "This is all bull, Miles. He is lying. The only person that says he's being arrested is Miles. When conspiracies turn to realities, your world will crumble about you. The friend you thought you could rely on no longer will respond to your call. This should be taking place right now. The tools you have relied on will break down and ground to a halt, and you really thought you knew what it was all about." So that's what John Irwin is saying in response to all of this Miles Johnston stuff. I had a lot of people, or I had, people, well, he said something on his project, the Basis Project website or group on Facebook. The only thing that I could find on Facebook was a fan page, which none of this is mentioned at all. Then I saw another email, or I saw another text from Miles saying, check out my website. I explained everything that happened to me on my website. I did go to his website. I didn't see any explanation. However, I did find a very interesting article that I want to show you guys. Info Correct, you're saying some few things. Okay, you said you were listening to John again. I like listening to him. And then he has so much more to tell us. And then, Terry, when people say that their pets are so empathetic and human-like, makes you think when John says that humans are incarnating into animals, eh? Oh, well, that's a whole nother story. When Charles Manson died, there were a lot, I guess they were Satanists. I think they were Satanists in the article. It was Los Angeles Times. They were celebrating, and the thing that they believed that he was going to incarnate into a small dog. So, think about David Berkowitz, right? Maybe the dogs were talking to him. I don't know, And then Info Create says, I went to train with John, but not sure he'd come to the States. Info Create got an ex-girlfriend that I'm pretty damn sure went the other way. Total bitch, that one. Okay, I don't know where that conversation is coming from, but okay. So, all right, I want to show. Okay, so I went to his website, and I'll go back to his website again just to double check that he hasn't posted something. But I also have an article that I think is interesting in response, in relation to what is happening right now. I might stop this. Again, I wanted to say that whatever I'm showing you guys tonight is covered by fair use. This is a transformative work. We are educating the public and critiquing the video we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and is allowable by law. Okay, so that's my little ticker tape down there. All right, so let me do a share screen. All right, and I'm going to go to the Chrome tab here. All right, so you guys, you can see that, right? I'm going to expand this over to here. Okay. All right, so this is from his website. And this was written, I believe, in 2018. And I find it interesting for more than one reason, also being that I was privy to some websites and some domains that ran between Carrie Cassidy and Revolution Radio that was by a guy named Ben Duchesne's. And I'm going to show you his site too briefly on this. And also Miles Johnston had some of this going on. So here's Miles Johnston making a public statement, not really about the thing that I was doing, but some other stuff that kind of seems similar. All right, so let's go with this. Public statement in response to false allegations of serious crime against Miles Johnston. In the few months prior to June 2018, it has come to my attention that several people with the past have been making public accusations against me of the most serious crimes imaginable. Specifically, that I am involved with the running of a large number of websites which distribute illegal pornography of every kind possible, including those focused on the abuse of children and even the murder of those people featured in the material so-called snuff videos. Having examined the claims and the evidence put forward, it is clear that the truth has been deliberately twisted and manipulated in a way that the facts of the case will make clear. I will explain here what I understand to have occurred, why these claims are false, and why those involved should think very carefully about their actions, which may lead to them finding themselves in court for defamation and or facing criminal charges. Spreading false information of this kind is rightly classed as the most serious type of defamation, and I intend here to set the record straight. The key mistake being made, the short version of all this, is that those involved have found an old image on a blog post, and this website doesn't take you to anywhere. All right. But when I clicked on it, it doesn't exist anymore, which ties me to a domain name that was issued by me in the past to promote my legitimate video production work focused on UFO research, Underground Video UK. The address listed there is undergroundvideouk.org. I still own and control the name undergroundvideouk.com. And if you visit the address, you will see that you were forwarded to my current website, thebasisproject.org. After repeated requests by the webmaster for the basis project for those making the claims to provide evidence to back up their claims, which were initially met mostly by abuse. A post was then made to Facebook page of one of those involved, providing what they state to be evidence of their claims. Note, neither myself nor the basis webmaster were notified of this evidence. It was simply by chance that we discovered it after digging around on social media sites to try to understand what was occurring. Now, this is Maria Kiali. I know that a lot of you guys that are listening tonight. I'm gonna have another piece of cheese. Probably know who this is. Okay, Maria Kiali. Let me see my cheese from that. Maria Kiali is she was a UFO experiencer that was part of the Amash program with maybe I'll just come back to here. Just go to here for a second. She was part of the Amash program, which was about a support group for alien abductees. And there was a documentary made for documentary-esque thing about this on one of their mainstream channels, so it got a lot of exposure. And they had come together at this time. I'm going to show you how they had a falling out and why that falling out happened, according to Joanne Summerskills, that Miles Johnston actually links to this article. So and in the article, you'll see what he says about this and everything. Now, during that filming, Maria Kiali's daughter committed suicide at the same time. Also, when I watched it, and you can watch this on, as a matter of fact, my video here about Simon Says shows parts of that documentary, and I do mention it in there, but you can find it on Amazon Prime. You can watch it. And Maria Kiali kind of got this because Miles had she took a DNA test to find out if she had any alien DNA, and it came up that she was human. But then also she took a lie detector test, and I thought the lie detector guy was really mean and kind of just nasty to her on camera. And I thought, well, you know what, that wasn't really necessary, all right? And I kind of felt bad. If anybody had, let's face it, Simon Says was, freaky, drawing his draconian family or his mantis, whatever, in it. That's weird. Come on. That's weird. Or it's kind of, you can't say that a lot of people are going to view that as being kind of weird. I know for a lot of people too that, are into aliens and want to find out what they are. They go, okay, that's perfectly normal. It could be possible. But but at that time when that video came out, it's going to sound like, this guy probably needs to, maybe be on medication. I don't mean to be rude, but when you look at someone like that, well, are they an alien abductee, or did he have a mother who neglected him and it was an alcoholic? Where do you, obviously she was an alcoholic, obviously he admits that his mother neglected him. Okay, anyway, I'm harping on that. I'm kind of running off of the topic here. So let me go back to Miles. But, see, Simon Parks is connected. Oops, Simon Says. I guess now we're supposed to go, you can't get, Simon Says it was birthed out of Miles Johnston and the Amash program. And now he's part of Buanon. Now he's on Asian and Indian cooking channels with Charlie Ward. Where does it go from there to there? Because there's definitely a link. It's like these people were they were almost created out of the UFO, this UFO community that's been spearheaded. The top people, Miles Johnston, Carrie Cassidy, etc. How could you not draw that correlation? Now we're going to get into something else. All right. All right. So Simon the Manson Man, I'm seeing that. For hashtag Miles Johnson Enabler's underground video is connected to what it is, right? All the other okay. All right. And let's scroll down a little bit farther. The link was to a website that provides tools to examine DNS records when opened, the DNS records for the website undergroundvideo.com were shown. And there's the, you can, whatever. Okay. The IP address for the server that hosts undergroundvideo.com is currently in their IP address. IP address revolves to a web server, marlins.entangledweb.net, which is operated by a hosting company called entangledweb.com. It appears that this hosting company also hosts numerous other websites, some of which are pornography oriented. And in fact, undergroundvideo.com itself is an address which currently forwards to another site that distributes what might possibly be illegal pornography. Since we have not watched the material on the site, we do not know for sure, but that is how its contents are presented, advertised, and that site's homepage. And honestly, think about it. What constitutes illegal pornography? Like, what makes it illegal? All right, I wonder. The domains we checked from the list of domain names that has been published and claim to be operating from the same IP address as the project's website are connected to web hosting company Entangled Web and to the domain undergroundvideo.com. Now remember, he's undergroundvideouk.com. And that's where he's saying, look, it just happens to be like, it looks like an association. They have undergroundvideo.uk.org. We're underground video, we're undergroundvideo.uk.com. But that's not UK. And this one, the undergroundvideo.com, is the only thing that's connected to this pornography websites. And he just happens to have, basically what he's saying is he has an accidental association to these websites. And there's been a mass confusion that he needs to clear up for everybody. All right. Now, he shows a post by Kieran Lee Perrin. Apparently, and I don't know everything about Kieran Lee Perrin, but I know that he worked with Miles a lot at one point. I think he is a survivor of MK Ultra, maybe. I think that's what it is. Don't know for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe a little bit more than that. But here we go. Waited and baited a long time. I have, for the information I received today, well, yesterday actually, but it went into my spam box in my encrypted account, so I missed it on arrival. Better late than never, though. Hey, so here we go. A snippet of a list of porn sites run via a certain perp server, said perp being Miles Johnston, aka the Basis Project, which, as I suspected and Max Spears confirmed, is a cover for far more nefarious activities. Max, as most of you will be aware, is now dead. Now, I find that this paragraph right here to be very interesting, that he is bringing up Max Spears, confirming knowledge of possibly websites or certain nefarious activities. Maybe Vanessa, actually, I asked Vanessa to confirm this to me. And hi, RD, it's good to see you here. And I can see you in the chat. And also Brando, thanks for being here. And I think Veronica Barrera, hello. I know that you said hello too. So what did Max know? And it's true that Max ran after Miles with a knife before he went to Poland, or before he was not on good terms with Miles. Max went after Miles, I think, with a knife. They had to pull him back. So what's going on before that time? It's like, okay, so I'm just throwing that out there, right? Let's think about it. I'm just pointing that out to you guys. And I asked Vanessa, and she confirmed that did in fact happen. Okay, I won't type in the www so as not to create links, as I'm sure you'll won't want to pursue the sites unless you're the like of him and his that is. But if in your case this is the case, then that's your problem. So be afraid, very afraid. Hey, Carrie Cassidy, aka Project Camelot. Anyhow, we gozy grown-up mature adults, what wants to know the truth of matters regarding the alternative media as things stand, bearing in mind too that this sad, sorry excuse of a man has been professing to want to save the world from destruction, whilst he's been seeking donations from you to help him do so. And even though he's inherited hundreds of thousands on more than one occasion and pisses money up the wall like nobody I've ever encountered, whilst it should be remembered, too, he's been professing to be trying to help TIs. And remember, I've always been pointing it out. They've created an entire media, the TI media. They're supposed to be helping TIs. I swear they're causing TIs. That's my personal take on it. Most of whom can barely feed themselves adequately, when in reality, he's been doing his utmost to neutralize any of us that are trying to expose matters. Not just a regular Masonic abuser, this one. He's one of their major players and must be taken down. You lot can see it to it that this is done, and here's your justification. And he writes a bunch of types of websites that are possibly, I guess, associated with him. So, just, look at that. I'm not going to say them out loud. Okay. And the list goes on. And I've, of course, omitted the M's after the Kutus. Now, mind you, guys, I am reading off of Miles Johnston's own website. So I'm not showing you something that I'm trying to shame his character. I'm just presenting this material for us to compliment in lieu of his own admission, that he was arrested on allegations, and that they had taken his computers, and they've also taken his mobile device. Why would they take his computers if it was just, my question is, why take his computers if it's just he took home a confused drunk woman who can't really recall what happened the night before and is now setting him up to look like a, okay? Now, the list goes on, and I of course omitted the M's. Okay, so we're not talking him just having viewed these sites, which is bad enough. We're talking him running them. Army, what are you gonna do now, A. Johnston? Bring it on. Okay, some of those, there was a few typos there. I read them as they were. That's why. Okay. Observant readers will notice that the website that I operate is called undergroundvideouk.com and not undergroundvideo.com. Underground Video UK is a name that I have used in the past to promote my UFO research work, and it is in no way connected to the domain undergroundvideo.com. The allegations appear to be entirely founded on several false premises, of which this is the most glaring and serious. For those involved who attempt to say that I and others in this field are competent and poor researchers, while they themselves have made such a serious and simple oversight, suggesting, at the very least, almost no attention to detail or double checking in their work, speaks volumes. To be very clear, I do not operate the domain name undergroundvideo.com and do not operate any pornography sites or have any connection to the IP address that is involved with the sites that have been claimed to be run by me. It should also be noted that of the domain names published by the accusers here, of the ones that were checked, none of them other than undergroundvideo.com actually resolved to live websites. which some of the domain names not even be actively owned by anyone. Again, example of not having done proper research into the issue. Okay, now I want to make a comment about that. Okay, about the domains no longer belonging to anything. One of the things that that I have to re-upload it here or somewhere, but I had it on my other channel where it was an old Revolution radio show where Mike Greenlee, aka Nighthawk, was admitting that he was paid like 10 grand to upload like disgusting videos. He kept talking about how disgusting they were for a particular client that only wanted to look at it. They for 20 minutes. Whoever paid for it, we're only going to look at it for 20 minutes. So if that's the case, if that's what's going on, maybe are these websites, are they even on the regular web? Are they on the dark web? Where are they? So if you're looking, so of course it would have no material on it anymore because it was a high paying dollar for something that was only going to be viewed once. All right. So here's some of the websites that he talked about. So he's showing them. Okay, your domain is available. Well, it probably existed before, see, but now it's available to be bought. That means nothing. Just because these are for sale now does not mean that they did not have something on it before or belong to somebody. The lack of due diligence research on the part of the accusers and their followers is so obvious and damning, with any competent observer being able to identify the mistakes being made, that it seems likely that the motivation here is malicious rather than due to pure. Is it getting too hot in here, do you think? Okay, thanks. This currently being investigated and will form the basis of legal action in the due course of if needed. Background technology. The core of the claim being repeated by several people to their followers on several social media sites is that the IP address of a domain that I control can be seen to be linked to the IP address and other websites that are focused on illegal pornography. For those who may not understand, every computer device that is connected to the internet has an IP number address that is used for identification by other computers. All websites are hosted on computer servers, and each server may or may not have a unique IP address. It is common for companies who provide website hosting services for many clients to share a single IP address among numerous of their clients. This means that many websites may share the same IP address without those who operate each of the sites have any say or knowing about the others who also use that same IP address. IP addresses are connected to the website domain names that we all type into browsers. And when we want to view a website, such as www.google.com, system that is called DNS, it's possible to query the Google DNS system to find out which web servers and their IP addresses correspond to which domain names. Tools exist that allow us to do some degree of research into who owns and operates which websites. However, this is not 100% reliable for a variety of practical reasons. The actual name of the person or entity that registers and controls specific domain names is not always publicly visible, as it can be set to private, meaning that we all can see when we look for the owner in these cases is a company name that handles the privacy. To truly know who owns or operates a domain name in such cases requires access to the records of the privacy company involved, and that would typically mean a court order in this action. It's not possible generally to know exactly who owns and operates a website just by searches made by the average person. No, not by the average person, but some Ben Duchesne can find it. And later on, I'm actually going to show you a Ben Duchesne website, and you're going to see some interesting things. So let's remember exactly what that website was, right? We'll go back to it. Okay, now this is really interesting. And I'm going to show you the archive because it's there, all right? but it goes back to and I mentioned her, Joanne Summerskills, when they had the split with the Amash program. There's a little more going on with that, and he actually does link an archive of her talking about it. So I'm going to give you her point of view too, because we're going to look at this from every angle, because when we look at everything from every angle, we can all make our own intelligent decision or discernment about the material and the things that are happening around us. All right? A comment on my character. In addition to the claims made about the IP address and domain names relating to my work, it has also been claimed that I am involved with producing pornography, perhaps at home, and that text, which appeared in a forum post on a webpage by Joanne Summerskills, who I previously worked with on the Amash program, is evidence of this. In fact, the post made publicly by Joanne Summerskills on this topic, which appeared on her website for Amash until it was taken offline. See here in the Internet Archive. We're going to go to that for a minute, but I'm going to finish this statement here. Only states that Joanne had seen pornography on my computer while I was editing the work for Amash. She does not say that I was editing pornography, which is quite different to simply having images visible on my computer. I am a personal friend of a mainstream legal pornography actress. Oh, isn't that special? Okay. From America, known as Kimberly Kupps, Kupps. And it is possible that images I have of her are where these claims originated. The claims have since been twisted and changed to fit an agenda intended to misrepresent me to the world in an unfair and apparently malicious way. I make no apologies for appreciating the sexiness. I make no apologies for appreciating the sexiness of a woman or for my friendship with a known porn actress. And I have never supported or produced any kind of illegal pornography, nor would I ever want to. I have worked hard to do my best to help victims of child abuse and would never knowingly do anything to harm victims or create new ones. So I'm going to do this public apology here, and then we're going to go look at Joanne's website. But a public apology is warranted. It is my sincere desire that those involved take note of their mistake here and immediately retract their claims and publicly apologize for what they've done to harm my reputation. I have not and do not harbor any ill will against them, and I wish them a swift recovery from their suffering, which they regularly and publicly speak out about. Make no mistake, though, if these false allegations continue, if sincere apologies are not made, and if steps are not taken to rectify their errors, I will not hesitate to initiate legal action to find remedy. The seriousness of the situation may well lead to criminal charges in addition to civil action. And so, I don't know. I don't think Kieran Lee Perrin has been, had charges against him, but maybe, I don't think, has Maria Callie had charges against her? He's done a lot of hoopla, but I don't see any legal action. Now, Simon Says, Mr. Manted, I heard that he, is threatening some legal weight against him. So let me see if this popped in here. Right. Oh, good. Okay. So this is Joanne Summerskills, and I see some of you guys have comments here, so maybe I'll go down. Max attacked Miles before his death. Yes, he did. He did. Yes. And why? Right? $10,000 for 20 minutes. You talked to Holly Bagnall? I haven't, and I think maybe I might have said something or done something that I sent her a friend request on Facebook, but I'm open to talking to her. Let's just put it that way. Liam Perrin sauce, haha. Already chilling. If you're still watching, I don't know if you're still watching or not. I have a message for you in your Skype. So if you would look at that, that would be great. And if you know Artie Chillin and he's not here, let him know that there's something I'd like to verify with him. Simon the Manted Man. Okay, so let's look at the Amash, the Amash program. All right. The end of Miles Johnston. I feel it's time that I put in the people in the picture. This is Joanne Summerskills writing this after they split in the Amash program. I feel this time. Okay, I thought I would update you about what Miles has been up to in recent times, particularly in the respect of causing damage to Amash and trying to cause me harm and damage through defamatory and, in all probability, libelous behavior. Just a bit of background, and do feel free to pass on to whomsoever you wish to. This is to clarify my position and that of Amash. In case you were unaware of the strange and bizarre behaviors of my now, thank God, ex-colleague Miles Johnston. For about 18 months, it is now clear that Miles has been sabotaging Amash from the inside and doing quite a job, as I didn't realize for quite a while either, until others reported to me concerns about his strange and bizarre behaviors, his irrational outbursts of temper. These seem again from the time of serious interest in the media about Josh. Some believe his behaviors are shaded by jealousy and that of a individual. I think it might stem from the fact that this work on basis for 20 years has been without any interest from mainstream media, and be at the root of it, and cheeky Amash, at only 15 months old, was attracting it in bucket loads. It could also relate to the fact that he was into porn. Never easy to be around because it's on his computer when I was around to do filming or editing. But I do think, all judgment aside, that a sort of murky energy can leave a person open to darker elements. Below is a summary of some of his behaviors. And by the way, I want to bring up the fact that if you are in a work environment with somebody, like if you're working at a regular job, and you're the person that you were working with next to you was actually had pornography on their computer, or if your boss had pornography on their computer, that would be considered sexual harassment, because it's they are exposing you to something sexual that you have not invited to have done to you. All right there. It doesn't matter if they were in a partnership. She was a woman, and he should not have had pornography on his computer or looking at it or whatever he was doing to it when he was working on another project or be around professional atmosphere. It's not appropriate. That's a fact. I mean, that's how it is in the United States. I don't know, maybe the UK is different. During this time, with Amash, Miles' behavior would range from irrational outbursts, explosions of temper, anger based on nothing that I could tell, to outright bullying and constantly trying to take over the project. He frequently threatened not turning up for filming, especially during both conferences. He was aggressive and unpleasant with bouts of calm. It was like being around an alcoholic, and I think that this may be part of his problem. Unbeknownst to me, he was also virtually stalking people whom I had interviewed, women only, of course, with upsetting and personal calls, mails, and texts, and would not stop, even when challenged to do so. He would make inappropriate comments to female interviewees, and he was always making sexual innuendos around me, whatever we were doing. I assure you that this was strictly a work relationship. Once the Channel 4 documentary filmmaking was underway, he extended his stalking behavior to the production team, calling all times of the night. I had no idea he was doing all of this until they called me up very concerned about his behavior. They reported that he was behaving like someone very unbalanced. Unfortunately, with filming underway, it was impossible for them to do anything other than manage the situation. He would tell production staff that dreadful things would now start happening to them. Honestly, you couldn't make this up. During the filming, he constantly harassed both of the women who appeared. Let me be clear also on the point of people participating in the documentary. Now, this is a documentary with Maria Kiali, right? All right. They did it as individuals making a choice to take part or know that I had zero to do with the outcome of either filmed appearance or the outcome. He called me one day to say his lunch was being disturbed by one of the women who was threatening suicide. So bad was the harassment that he told me we had a situation. I spent an hour on the phone with this lady. I was absolutely shocked and more than concerned that anyone could cause such distress to the point that she couldn't take things anymore. She felt so ill with his refusal to stop badgering her that she felt pushed to the edge. It escalated to her ex-husband telling Miles to stop what he was doing. So Miles has been undermining the well-being and direction of Amash for a long time. Can this all be just down to jealousy? Earlier in the year, he took down all the videos from YouTube so none were available on a powered ego trip. I completely trusted him with all elements of the video side, expecting us to be working together for time to come, but now realized that we would not be satisfied until he had taken control of Amash. I had given him complete control of all video making, uploading and editing work, and took advantage creating a situation whereby he was solely in charge. Since then, I knew there was no possibility of working together further. I could not know he was causing so much trouble and damage. From the very early days, his behavior was clearly seen by others. With vision I don't have, on several occasions, I was warned of a traitor in the camp to be careful. But I had no idea that meant Miles, because at the time I was managing things and I couldn't believe they meant him. It just didn't make sense. At least I didn't see the signals then. His behavior got so strange and belligerent that I had to cut all contact, refusing to have anything further to do with him. He emailed me to say that he knew he was off the project, but not before he wrote a bizarre email saying that there was a sex dossier on him and that he was to cut the bone and that he was going to be exposed. Needless to say, whether he has made porn films or not, I can assure the world that the last thing in the world, my world, that I would want to see is Miles in a porn flick. Since the airing and the documentary, which in my view was dreadful, but created some very positive context and responses, he embarked on a campaign defaming me, starting with the ridiculous saying that I'm a reptilian, and then going on to infer that I'm not safe around children. That's going to be a theme tonight because we're going to see what somebody's saying about Sean Atwood here in a bit. You know, I guess when they want to, anyway. Of course, I was promoting the Amash checks element of the work. Checks equals child experiencer. As I have spoken to some parents over time and further crazy things, he's continuing to peddle bizarre, false, and utterly ridiculous things about me and putting them out on YouTube. Oh, I think he said I would never get a CRB check, if he knows what that is. I've had one for a long time and still do. I was alerted that he was due to speak about Amash at the St. Anne's conference, which wants nothing to do with them. She contacted him, and I'll do the last paragraph here. I had to make people aware of just what Miles has been doing. I've been reading so much behind the scenes of Amash, and no one has yet heard from me. But now I'm getting ready to move forward. He obviously thinks that Amash is no more, and I am lying down quietly to die in the mouth of a sabotage. Guess what? This is not the case. All right, so I want to just again reiterate to you that the reason why he sourced this and mentions it is because it proves that he was not editing porn and that it was simply on his computer. But what she says is just kind of a roundabout way. Like, yeah, no, she doesn't admit that he's editing it. But she doesn't say that he's not editing it either, right? I mean, am I missing something here? Okay, just maybe I'll look at you guys and see what you're saying. Oh, thank you, RD Chillin, and I'm seeing that you're replying. Okay, great, and I appreciate that, and I will take a look at that later on after the show. Thank you. Okay. playing devil's advocate. This is a way to ruin someone in many ways. The accusation alone can do it. Yeah, and it's good that you're being a devil's advocate, but I am actually reading from Miles Johnston's website, right? So I'm not accusing Miles Johnston, but I'm reading Miles Johnston's website. And again, Miles Johnston is making claims that he has been arrested for allegations, all right? He is saying that he's being arrested. He's innocent. It's a honeypot for him. And that they confiscated his equipment, and they've taken his now this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing that he's saying. Obviously, earlier on I showed how he was trying to defend himself to John Irwin, saying, I have been arrested, because John Irwin said, you're just full of crap and you're just like making stuff up, for the drama of it. So I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything. All I'm doing is presenting things that have been discussed that are surrounding this topic, with an arrest, with what's going on his videos, that his computers were taken. I always thought that too much sexual innuendo means that your aim is seriously off. Maybe. Okay, so one more thing that I want to show you is Ben Duchesne on Miles Johnson. Is Ben Duchesne's stuff on him. Okay. All right, and we discussed web domains, and I want to show you some other web domains that that might be interesting to you. Okay, let me just go back to here for a second. Go back to my inbox. Okay. All right, so maybe he is innocent. I'm not the judge here, but I'm just looking at stuff. And the reason why this is so interesting to me, let me do that again. The reason why it's so interesting to me is because of the fact that Ben Duchesne's contacted me and showed me those web domains that ran between these people. And here he is talking about it. Here's, and now there is this happening, and they have taken his equipment. Why take that? Like if what he's saying is true, why take his equipment? So here he is with Carrie Cassidy. This is Ben Duchesne's website, http, bdq.ca. All right, and this is /Miles Johnston /. And I'll make sure that I source this stuff in the video later on. All right, so that's, so he's heavily associated with Carrie, right? They went to there's an Egypt in 2019. He went to Egypt. All right. Okay, so here we get to some of the domains. I'm going to get them a little bit larger. exosesconvergence.org. Look at what we're seeing here. There's the IP address. Now here is Miles Johnston. undergroundvideo.uk.epinet.org. There he is there. And he said, now this is a .org. So here, this is the .org, not the .com. That he says he's not associated with. This is the domain information, so we know who owns it. Right? Network Solutions LLC is the register. He said it's really hard to find. Client transfer prohibited. Economic Policy Institute. This video is unavailable because probably somebody's channel went down. Here's somebody that we know. We recognize this name right here, Hyman, right? Here's other stuff over on the side. Now, again, as Miles explains, you can be connected to the same IP address, and there can be several other websites connected to you. Don't know what their association is. You don't know who some of the main clients is. This is something here. All right. That's from Maria Kayali. Now, she says, there's some text that I received from Miles Johnson trying to get me to go to Poland before Max agreed to go. I kept refusing, and I kept thinking that he wanted me there for a reason. Now, hi, Miles. Tell me, where did you actually... Now, this is Ben Deschaines talking to Miles Johnston. All right. Hi, Miles. Tell me, where did you actually find Tim Raffet? We did listening to one of your latest video posted on YouTube with Tim Raffet. Basis 88, Part 3, the physics of psychic warfare. In fact, I took note of the words that come out of Tim Raffet's mouth. See the words below. I also stopped at 4025 after listening to all this garbage of yours, but I did laugh a lot when you asked Tim Raffet where does he find them. His answer was beauty. You can't listening. Find them in a mental hospital. Also, what is your story on Max Spears? You were the last one to see him before he goes to Poland. Also, what is Black Goo? And how is Sarah Adams doing? Got her email? And for last, I know you're aware of these subdomains. And how many domain names do you own in total? How many are related to porn or sex? And why does your name and your friends show into these subdomains? The people that you interview is percentage. How many comes from mental hospital? Oh God. Like, I don't know why that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. Wait a second, let me drink some coffee. Oh, and for last, do you feel feeding your garbage to the brain of sick individuals make you smart? Do you feel feeding your garbage to the brain of sick individuals make you smart? Tell me also, as I am thinking about it, all your garbage. So like you were all experts in spying and knows it all, UFOs, mind control, intel. Care to tell me where you learned all this garbage from? Do you feel you're exploiting or abusing people's mind to benefit you? Got answers. Thanks, Ben. And so, like, I guess he's talking about all the topics that he's talking about here in what he's doing. Okay, I'm just going through here. All right. See, again, Tim Raffet helps targeted individuals. Targetindividualscanada.com, Tim Raffet. But he also teaches people how to do black magic on TikTok to tweens. Oh God, you gotta love that. And I have a copy of it, but there's one where they even did a weird thing with a pig, but he's helping targeted individuals in Canada. Okay, so this is more on Tim Raffet. He has more of a past. Maybe we should do a show on him. He's an interesting guy. But I didn't mean. Okay. I didn't mean. Oh wait. Okay, it took me. You didn't even see where I went to. All right. This site is for activism. It goes on about with the TI community. Okay, and then there's Tim Raffet. This is kind of a funny video. All right, so here we go again with the Basis Project. All right. Regarding Miles Johnson, he's the world's best psychic warfare specialist in public domain. Maybe you should listen and shut up. So that's Miles Johnson's response to about Tim Raffet to Ben Deschaines. He's the best psychic warfare specialist in public domain, and we forget Max Spears and everybody else. Hey, Christine, you're not the best psychic warfare. It's actually Tim Raffet. All right, none of you guys do not compare to Tim Raffet. And you know what, Ben Deschaines, you just shut up and listen. All right. North Riding Point traffic cache gold. Here we go. Underground Video UK. So it's not a .com, but it's still in here, and it goes to another actual domain, trafficcashgold.com. Oh, speaking of Miss Hart, he's added her. Christine Hart is a Sunday Times bestselling author. Also, I want you to take note how she has her hand on her chin like that. That's the penalty box sign for Masons. I know you guys don't want to hear me say that, but that's exactly what she's doing there. It's very obvious. Oh, but you didn't hear me say that, right? I mean, it's fine. I mean, hey, but it's, that's, why make that position? Like she's not really leaning on her arm. That is a specific code. Now, I mean, is it supposed to? Oh, I'm investigating. Yes, let me put my. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to. I probably activated her now. So, but hey. I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm observing things. Maybe the Masons are fantastic and they don't have symbols, and we're just all paranoid. And I could go there too. So I'm just pointing that. Okay. So this is all about here, right? Her resume, and he's highlighted certain things. So. Series of nonfiction books. I mean, she's writing books and stuff. I mean, she's got a nice resume. Okay. So you're looking at all that stuff there. Oh, and there's Robert Stanley. Robert Stanley was friends with Alex Collier before when he was Ralph Armagron, when he had gone to prison for tax stuff. They knew each other. He had Unicus magazine. He also has some of these domains that are interesting, but you can see that Christine's interviewed him. And by the way, up until Miles Johnston's website went down, he was still uploading Christine's material on his website and giving her a boost on the Basis Project. So Christine is always, even though there's been times where she's had conflict with him, I think that she's always been someone. It looks to me that she's always been connected and in his pocket. Okay, Miles Johnston again. Video UK, Miles Johnston. It goes on, and here's prescribed.com. See, it ends in a .com. This is another guy named Stephen Gask. He's the green guy, and he's got these things. But there's that video. There's the UK part, and there's no org going on in here. Here's another thing that's YouTube user megawatts 1066. That's 1066 is also Miles Johnston. See, there's megawatts 1066 here, and it goes on. .coms. All right, and look at this here. Northridge Point, which has been part of the UK stuff. Huh? Underground Video UK. See what that says? And there's a .com. There's no org. There's no org here. See? What's this? .com. It goes to a .com. There's no .org. Now, maybe it's that same company. It could be just all a coincidence, just one big coincidence. What does that say? Right? Okay. How about this? Huh? Okay, so I wanted to show that to you. And that's the part on Miles Johnston. All right. Who knows? All right. I just showed you the material. You make up your mind. Has he been arrested? Has he not been arrested? What's going to happen? Did the police actually really take his computers? Is that part of all of this? is this unraveling? Is this actually connected? Are they all a little bit pervy, like Mr. Necktie, Mr. Manted? You know, everybody has a connection to the porn business. Not everybody, but Revolution Radio did. Okay. Miles Johnston, maybe not. I mean, he just had porn on his computer. We don't know, but whatever. I'm going to say it. Mr. Stephen D. Kelly has fartdom.com, right? His name is still on that. I've looked it up. A long time ago when we did that show, it came out that he fartdom. Come on, guys, fartdom. Women farting in men's faces. Yeah. Oh, isn't that lovely? Yeah. His name's still on it. It's still up. Sell for clips. He says, well, my email, his regular email that he gives out to everybody, law17@aol.com or whatever, might be still a part of that site. Still a part of that site. What does Dr. Kelly have to say about that? What does Dr. Kelly have to say? Dr. Kelly? Dr. Kelly? Dr. Stephen D. Kelly, Dr. Stephen D. Kelly. He's not a doctor. He does not have a PhD. Right? Doesn't have a PhD. We need to be wondering about all of these people right now. The people that we've been listening to that's been giving us our spiritual knowledge, teaching us how to help targeted individuals. We hope to be healed. We hope to be okay. But we're just being taken for a ride. And then there might be, when things smell funky, when there's it's too many times now. You got the other accusation, you got Joanne Summerskill saying stuff, you have Maria Kali saying stuff, you have other people saying stuff, and now you have him saying that he's in trouble and they've taken his job. Well, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's just all, he's a victim, he's fighting, he's protecting us from black goo. Maybe that's it. We need to know about black goo. Right? Okay. Quack. Quack. It is okay to talk about the esoteric, but we got to think about who. To me, it's well, who is the person talking about it? I mean, yeah, they might be saying some truth about it because anybody can, you gain knowledge, but okay. But Magic 8 Ball gives you a good advice too. Yeah. The female Freemasons are Eastern Star. Yeah, they are. Okay, so I got that wrong. She's not a Freemason. It might be Eastern Star. Yeah, they're the female version. Let's see what else. You would blame the man who didn't really kill himself. That's how we're. Oh, okay. This, I don't even want to say it on. I talk about it on the show because it might be one of those things that the AI is going to pick up. But Google it. It has to do with Buanon and Hillary Clinton and Uma Aberdeen. All right. So, Rudy. Always thought too much sexual anyway. Okay. All right. So now, I want to go into a little bit of Sean Atwood and cover on him because there's been a lot going on. Let's make sure I got my YouTube going here. Okay. Again, I'm going to mirror. Let me get to my library here. I'm going to mirror one of Sean's shows. Give me my library. Okay, okay, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to go into here and give it, it's still going to need to come in because I'm kind of running a little bit slow. Hopefully I'll be able to like share the screen. I might explain it to you, but I'd like you to see. Apparently, okay, I'll give you the chart. Good. Okay. All right. So I'll give you a quick overview before I show you Sean Atwood talking. Okay. First of all, Sean Atwood lost his channel twice, and then back twice, and each time it has to do with certain videos that he did in the past and that he made a plea to YouTube, and he got it back. And took out about 40% of his content, basically deleted all the things that had to do with the man who didn't really kill himself, which I loved his commentary on it. That was very intelligent. All right. Andrew Gine, again, we talked about the whole thing, because that might be an AI thing too. And that I had a big debate with What is Truth podcast. And, I said, hey, this is a prank. And I was trying to tell people it was a prank. And he was pranking Andrew Gine. And then Andrew Gine has been watching everything carefully and has been talking about exactly what cyberbullying is. And we talked about that on my last show, so I'm not going to go over it again with you guys, okay? But I want to share what's recent. Now, James English is apparently a comedian in the UK, and he got himself into some trouble, which I want to show you the article on that too as well. But first, apparently he talks about how you'll see. You'll see. There's this big thing going on between the two guys. And again, fair use is a transformative work. We are educating the public and critiquing the video we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. Okay, so here. Oh, wait. Oh, I hope I did the speaker part, because I'd hate to stop the screen share. Okay, here we go.
Just pull the chat up right now on my computer. Bear with me. Here we go. Okay.
The purpose of this late night video is the James English podcaster made some allegations against me this evening, which is posted on his main channel. It's basically just information recycled controls, stuff that was circulating controls last year, and we are going to be covering that. But before we do cover it, I would just like to read you the conviction and the charges James English ended up with for the incident against the woman that happened at McDonald's. So bear in mind when you are listening to the video that James has seen. This guy, according to the Daily Mail, I will put the link in the description box below this. But the headline in the Daily Mail article, and this is not defamation because I'm reporting a court-documented case, a media-documented case. The headline is, Kerry Katona's boyfriend, James English, once assaulted a woman, spat in her face in a McDonald's bus stop as a shocking, violent past is revealed.
Like, can you believe this made the Daily Mail? I mean, because I guess James English is somewhat famous.
So, yes, I was convicted of trafficking in Arizona. My life is an open book. I've done many accounts of it, and I've been interviewed for almost 20 years about my exact crimes.
we did invite James onto our podcast with Wellman, and he cancelled the morning of the interview. And I had no idea of the nature of his crimes until people started sending me this information after he launched the podcast last year. He did an interview with Darren G where I was called every name under the sun, for which I had to file a defamation lawsuit against him. This week I made it to Darren G, and he admitted that he was led down the path by English to destroy my reputation, according to Darren, because James English wanted to be the number one in the podcast world. Well, when you've got such missions and charges, it's a very dangerous game to be played. And I will address all the allegations James made against me after I just read you this article. We've already put up 2 videos, one from Wild Woman, one from Cali Diamond.
I'm going to interrupt for a minute. I just got a message from Stephen Allen Green, comedian, said, "Nice seeing you tonight on Instagram." So that's nice, right? Because we were on the Instagram thing. Anyway, here we go.
Exactly. This evening, those videos are on my channel. So this is from the Daily Mail. Keaton's new boyfriend was a violent Scottish comedian once assaulted a woman, spat in her face. The Shame 32.
He's a Scottish comedian.
Actor who was
man, Scottish comedians spat in her face.
Slain gangster Ewan H. Johnston pled guilty to the assault during a furious bust-up at the McDonald's in 2015. Kenny Donna on face, James passed kissing in Ireland last week. In April, James was initially charged with punching. Just going to leave the female victim's name out right now, but the 33-year-old woman. James was initially charged with punching this woman on the head and pulling her hair to the extent of an injury. The article goes on to say, but that was later deleted from the charge, and instead he pled guilty to assault and spitting in her face during the brawl in November 2015. And on it goes. That's all I'm going to say on that. So you've got someone convicted of such a heinous crime. I'm going to put this article in the description box right now, so you guys know I am not just making this out of the clear blue. Making stuff out of the clear blue. Let me just, I'll put it in the chat. There you go. Chat. And I'm going to put it off the description box. So, article. All right. On to the allegations James made against me this evening, which is just information recycled from the trolls from last year. It was the trolls egging him on. He launched the podcast. With the same information, nothing has changed. So James made the very serious allegation that I have been charged with criminal minds. Thank James for making these allegations. So absolutely all up. We knew James will listen from the troll. So I got two statements just for this. People want how on earth did these responses get posted. I knew exactly what he was going to say. It's just absolute rubbish. And Wild Woman. I've just posted a video on my channel of Wild Woman explaining the.
Oh, okay. So there's an echo. Okay, let me. Thanks for letting me know that. Okay. That one looks like you. I think it's. I'm gonna put. Okay. All right, let me just put the earphones in on this so that I don't have the echo with you guys. Okay. All right. Let me just. So, all right. Let me just put this in here like this. Give me just a second, guys. Okay. Darn it. What did I do here? Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Wait. All right. I'll put these. Get these going. Here we go.
So if you are in a conspiracy case, everything everybody else does in the conspiracy, you are liable for. Conspiracy of any of those crimes. In this case, wild woman's massively overgrown 16-year-old son used her phone to buy some weed. There you have it. That is the extent of the minor charge. The minor charge was dropped from the indictment in my case, and I have no convictions involving minors. So, there you go, James English. What do you say to that? Because you made it sound like we were grabbing school kids and getting them to sell drugs or something like that. And that charge does sound horrendous. So thank you, James, for bringing that up this evening so we can clear that up. You want to see the woman's own words on that? The video was just posted to my channel just under an hour ago. It's called Wild Woman versus James English, minor charge. So the next thing that James English said, which has been fed to him by the trolls, is that I am banned from schools because I've got some messed up history. Absolutely ridiculous. Again, this has been fed to him by the trolls. Since this academic year started, I'm back in the schools speaking drugs education, life lessons talks, something that I've been doing for 10 years. I've actually spoke to hundreds of thousands of students now in this country. The schools have me coming back every year. I don't have to advertise the talk. And they say that the hardest to reach kids are the ones that stay behind and at the end and ask me the most questions. So I'm really proud of the work I'm doing in schools. And James really saying these things that are lies and disinformation has just made his defamation case a whole lot worse for himself. Because when this goes to court, he has to prove all this nonsense that is being fed to him by the trolls. And the trolls must be laughing their arses off. Because the trolls' plan in the very beginning was, let's give Sean some information about James, which they did, and I kept it to myself because I was not out to start any podcast wars. I'm a collaborative person. Let's give some information to James, give some information to Sean, and see if they'll go to war against each other. And they sucked him right in with this bogus crap that he is repeating to this day. Even Darren G, if you watched the podcast earlier.
Okay, so I find it interesting that he says one thing about the trolls give him information, and then the trolls give James English or Darren Gee information, and so then they end up biting on that, and he it's like, are the trolls trying to actually spur people to the podcasters to go against each other? Because if we're going against each other, then we're actually not paying attention to the things that we really want to be talking about, and then we're talking about the drama of the trolling and the podcast wars, right?
We had this week apologized for saying certain things and said James had brought him down a path to destroy my reputation so he could become the biggest podcaster. So, next thing is that the schools, one of the students, so inspired by my talk, he went on to do a criminology degree at Winchester University. And our family invited me to graduation. Yes. She said a book, it was Joanne Harry Face the Screen. I was so inspired by that book. I wrote my whole War on Drugs series of books. So, trying to build on stuff that Joanne Harry expressed about the futility of the war on drugs that's caused all chaos in the world. So there we go.
And, I mentioned, you guys about why I like Sean is that he is actually talking about the war on drugs and what really happens in the system and like how are we actually rehabilitating people in terms of anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
16-year-old son of a wild woman about you from school completely false. That shall be properly added to the defamation lawsuit. Alright, so I just posted a video of Callie Diamond saying exactly what my role in the prank was, what her role in the prank was, why she was in the outfit. I had absolutely nothing to do with her dressing up in that outfit. She was living in a crazy world of sex work, years of outfits in storage, and all kinds of bizarre characters coming in and out of her life. When he covered the story, I was really moved by the story, and she did a suicide attempt to raise the money for her to try and get a place away from the crazy people she was talking to. And we did raise that money, and the trolls then said, "Raise that money, this pays it for podcast equipment." And the trolls said, I did a full explanation on the True Geordie podcast. Brian and Lawrence Harron on the Wild Man Tribute did a full explanation of exactly what happened. And we are all human, we all make mistakes, and if anyone is offended by the prank, I again today apologize to you guys. It was distasteful. I'm human.
Am I buffering? Am I buffering right now? Is that what's happening? Okay, is it the what is it? It's the video of Sean? Or, I was like buffering because I think I'm playing something? Like can you guys see me? Okay, so I'm back. Okay. All right. No, it dropped. All right, it dropped for a minute. Sorry. All right, so basically he's talking about what happened with Miss Diamond, and he's saying I'll see if I can play a little bit more of it, and then if I'll just keep watching you guys, and if it's not working there for a moment.
Flawed. I've made many mistakes throughout my life, but we move on, don't we? I mean, that happened, when was it? Over a year ago now, I believe. And these trolls are just still recycling it because that's all they've got on me. That's all they've got on me. They've gone through my entire past. They've contacted all my ex-girlfriends. They've contacted my prosecutor. They've contacted Sammy the Bull to find anything in my story that's untrue, or anything involving me in any crimes, against women or kids.
Okay.
Out there, and they have found absolutely nothing.
I'm getting I'm getting a message to put it on 480 and take it off of let me see how I do that. I think it's like through here. Nope. Quality 360. Where do I take it off 480? Mini player, theater mode. I don't know. Maybe if I do a smaller screen, it'll be better.
The same old rubbish that James has recycled tonight. He even put that picture up of me, that he claimed it was my mugshot. James has claimed that is my mugshot. His Scouse friend, whose podcast he went on, has claimed that is my mugshot. Marvin claimed it was my mugshot. Well, you know what? My mugshot is on the thumbnail of this video. That is...
Oh, sorry. Darn it. I ruined the whole thing. Let's go back. 3. I'm trying to auto... Oh, I see where I do it.
Have to try and destroy me.
Okay, let's try it here and see if that's better.
Me, and am I raging? I don't rage.
Oh, it's buffering. That's because I made it big. Okay, maybe it's happening for a reason. Find out why.
I'd be excited because someone's called me out. So I've been speaking to Darren every day since we did the podcast, and I'm hoping to go to Birmingham next week with James, my cameraman, and to hang out with Darren and to film podcast number 2. Maybe work out with him. I'll have to take some gym clothes. All right, please, please put any questions or concerns.
You guys got the gist of what's going on. I'm going to kind of end it right there, except I want to show you the article because he has the article. I can stop this right now. He has the article of James English, and I thought this was kind of interesting, just because I know he reads it, but just to get the full magnitude of it all, let's just look at it for ourselves. Close the chat to replay. Yeah, we got the point, right? So he's explaining about the trolls. He's saying how the trolls, pit them against each other. He brings up the whole, other stuff that we were talking about before, the stuff and everything. So I wanted to present these to you because it seems like at one point the trolls are slamming people and trying to accuse them of being, doing nefarious things, right? They're really accusing, like Sean Atwood is really being taken to town by trolls right now. Why is this happening to him? And again, he's the channel going up and down and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But to me, Sean Atwood reads legitimate. He's not perfect. He's made mistakes, but he admits it. And he has a certain amount of humility about what he's saying. I believe that inside he's really actually trying to do something good, even though he's not a perfect person, because you don't have to really be a perfect person or have a perfect past to make your now better or make the now for other people better. So, the reason why I've even done commentary on Sean Atwood is because I'm watching how he gets attacked by trolls that I feel that has happened to me. And so there's a similarity with that. And of course, he's a lot more high profile than I am. But nonetheless, I'm probably the most heavily trolled person with the smallest amount of subscribers that I really care about. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We got 18 people here tonight, and it's 12:18 on the West Coast. So that's not too bad actually. And welcome to the new day. Okay, and then I want to share this article with you, and then I'm going to close out the show or the live stream. Okay, so this is James English in the Daily Mail, all right, and wants to. No, I don't have notifications from you. Okay, I got it. You got my cookies. That's fine. Okay. So, this boyfriend, she happens to be famous for whatever reason. We're going to get into that. So, both of them are well known. communication is there's a word guilty to 15. Now I think it's kind of interesting that he is, he was passed with the slaves. Like for whatever reason. So anyway, you get the point. I think I'm going to stop that too. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, I think you feed the trolls. I feed the trolls. They don't leave talk about them. Yeah, okay, I understand that philosophy, okay? But, it's important to talk about them as it's not acceptable for them to be doing this. And I'm talking about it because it's in an observational point of view. Yeah, they want to give you energy, but they really shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And that's the topic of tonight. So, yeah, you could say you can ignore people all you want, but they can be very life disrupting, and they can actually push somebody to, if you're not strong about who you are. Like Sean Atwood is defending himself. He has a right as a host to not accept another host to spread lies about him, right? You have the right to defend yourself. Like I have the right to defend somebody else if they're saying that I threatened them, which is a lie. I have a right to call that person out on my platform and defend myself because that's not right. There's a difference between trolling people, like harassing them online, saying nasty things to them. When you don't realize that if you're a person or a public person and you have a paper trail of people like creating content that's trashing you and spreading lies about you so that when your name is Googled, those are the first things that come up. You don't think those things affect your job, or that what you have online isn't going to affect your well-being or your ability to make money. That's when people need to be called out. Yeah, you can sit back and go, oh, I don't care if I'm feeding the trolls. But when the feeding the trolls are stopping you from being hired, or they are disrupting your life to the point of, I don't know, maybe even making you mentally and emotionally sick. Oh, don't feed them. Let me tell you something. Wait till it happens to you, and then get back to me how you're able to sit back and not feed them anything and act like it's not happening to you, or that you don't feel that you need to set the record straight. Hell, the point of the entire show tonight is even like Miles Johnston is like the reason why I'm reading from his blog. He's defending himself against his allegations. Now, we can believe him or not. You can believe Sean Atwood or not, but we have the right to defend who we are, and we also have the right to examine each other as being authentic. But at the same time, where's the balance in this? Where's the balance before it's a disruption to your life? No, you tell me when you sit back and you have it happen to you on the magnitude that, say, Sean Atwood's have it, then you sit back and tell me how to be when people troll you online. Until it happens to you, until it walks in your shoes, until you've suffered from it, then come back to me and tell me what to do about it. Okay? Thanks for the comment, but whatever. Continue. They're going to continue, but I'll tell you what, they're not like they used to be with me. So, do you have my back? I don't know. That remains to be seen. I mean, I've enjoyed you in chat, but I really don't know you. Shadow banned account, You have no face to me. All I can do is read what you're saying here, and I don't agree with what you're saying, and I have the right I have a right to defend my platform and what I'm doing tonight to you in your comment. But you have my okay, fine. But then don't judge us if we're talking about what trolling's like, what cyberbullying is, when you're trying to like, I'm just showing him defending himself against a guy making disparaging comments about things that are level that's putrid. And you don't think that he has like he should just shut his mouth up about it and not talk about it? It's his platform. It's his reputation. So, anyway, on that note, I am going to say goodnight because I've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I don't want to do a 2.5 hour show. Let's see, maybe I can get some outro music. All right, so I just want to say thank you for being here tonight. Biggie says, shalom, Biggie, shalom, Shabbat, good times. I hope you guys enjoyed some of this. I started out doing the podcast that I'm going to put on Anchor. Again, one more time, if you would like to support my efforts here on my channel, please like and share. Please subscribe to my channel, and also make sure that you hit the all button on the notifications if you want to be notified for everything that I'm doing. Even Shadow Ben account, I appreciate you being here in the chat. I hope I didn't seem too harsh on it, but I'm kind of tired of hearing just ignore it and they're not going to leave. Yeah, they're probably not going to leave. But I think that YouTube and other people need to understand what they're doing, and that they should be held accountable too within all of the censorship that's going on. Awesome. It's all good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. And so now I'm still working on my Patreon. I hope to have that done. I start school on Monday. So first day of school will happen. Hopefully I'll be back at least once a week to do a podcast and some sort of show. And once I get going and I know what my schedule is going to be like, how heavy it's going to be. I'll try to do more shows there as well. NotMyRabbitHole.com, Patreon.com/Freedom of Joyce. Also at Anchor.com. Please subscribe to Anchor. Let them know that I have a presence there. I'm also on Spotify. You can listen to, Not My Rabbit Hole with Tere Joyce, the audio version of the show. And, and that's about it on that. All right, so the Bluestone. Oh, the Bluestones Ocean. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see. I spelled ocean wrong. Oh, here it is. I'm down like one person.